Welcome back to Roughing It. We embarked on what would be every state in New England.
Discover beautiful Rhode Island. Rhode Island. Welcome to Massachusetts. Welcome to New Hampshire.
We stopped in a hotel, cleaned up, fell on old habits.
We'll be back to see who makes the cut right after this. That's probably a bad choice of words.
And rested.
Welcome to Maine. And we just crossed into Maine. Whee! Hey Skylar, how does it feel to be in Maine in 66-degree weather?
With a little more than 66,000 residents, Portland has the highest population of any city in Maine. Portland, Oregon on the west coast was actually named after Portland, Maine.
So I already love Maine, just even driving through here. I had Google avoid toll roads, which it finally did, amazingly enough. Forced me to go through a lot of these really cute Maine towns. Streets were lined with flowers and American flags, and everybody seems really nice.
Maine has the craggy, rugged coastline of Scotland with the abundant trees of the Pacific Northwest. In fact, Maine is nicknamed the Pine Tree State because around 83% of it is covered in forest. And the coast has so many deep harbors, it's been said all the navies in the world could anchor in them. The Maine flag says it all. Trees and sailors. With that maritime connection comes one of Maine's notorious exports. Approximately 40 million pounds, or 90% of the country's lobster supply, comes from Maine.
Just kind of buying time until I go and have some lobster. Lobster, anyone?
I had budgeted in a lobster dinner, which was followed up by a famous Maine moon pie, given complimentary by Skylar's new friends, the restaurant staff, and the restaurant patrons, and the people in the street, and While the state might typically be on the chilly side, Mainers are not. In our experience, it ranks very high on dog friendliness. It's a place where postal workers and canines are friends and allies. And Skylar took advantage of it.
It's funny because the Mainers call her a sweet hat, which is charming.
All the love and cool weather got Skylar extra fired up.
Skylar is pretty restless today, so the idea is to tire her out a little bit.
She had no complaints about the place or the people. The city has some down-home sturdiness, a roughness wrought of the sea in bitter winters. Life on the coast of Maine seems wholly tied to the ocean. Historic maritime signal tower, the Portland Observatory, is a symbol of the city. It has been guiding ships since 1807 and is the only known survivor of its type in the U.S. Just south of Portland, Fort Williams Park is free. Portland Head Light is the oldest and most photographed lighthouse in the state. Construction began in 1787 at the directive of George Washington and was completed in 1791. Standing 101 feet above water, its light is visible from 24 miles away. A mile offshore is the Ram Island Ledge Light. Many stories surround these lighthouses as well as the fort. Seafaring tales of ships averting disaster thanks to the lighthouse and the keepers are plentiful. On the grounds are the ghostly ruins of the Goddard Mansion. Completed in 1858 for John Goddard, a successful lumber businessman, it was one of the first grand homes along the Cape Elizabeth shore. A short-lived existence as a home, it was purchased by the government for military use before falling into disrepair. Guns at Fort Williams were never fired in combat, and it was decommissioned and mostly dismantled in 1963.
Oh, is this danger? Looks like a trail to me.
There's much to explore in the park. Littered throughout are historic relics, recreation areas, and views of the islands of Casco Bay and the Atlantic Ocean.
Look at that shit coming in.
If you want to go a little farther, take the CAT high-speed ferry from Portland. It will get you to Nova Scotia in about 5 hours. For a different kind of ride, the Maine narrow gauge engine operates a 1.5-mile leisurely route along the eastern promenade of Casco Bay. Learn about the train's history, and pets are welcome. Pass by the Portland Cemetery, and it could have materialized from a Stephen King novel.
And a Portland cemetery.
Many of the famous author's horror novels are set in his home state of Maine, but for all the spookiness, the state is very safe. It is ranked #1 in the least amount of crime incarceration. It is also ranked #1 in blueberries. 99% of the blueberries produced in the U.S. come from the state. Moose are also in abundance and draw a lot of tourists and wildlife enthusiasts.
It's really nice and chilly, which is really awesome. Really awesome. I have no idea how awesome it is. It's so much better than 95 degrees. So much better.
I wasn't sure if I loved Maine because of the break from the heat we've been traveling through, or because its culture and history is so steeped in the sea that it's somehow admirable. To the Mainers inland, their lives are more tied to the trees. Either way, the relationship to the environment is palpable, which is probably why Maine is one of the top states in recycling. Recycling. Some states have robust recycling systems, and Maine is one of them. The rest of the country isn't as committed, so it can be difficult to find places to recycle.
And I know you all recycle, right?
There are many apps to help you find places to recycle. REI always has recycling, national parks, health food shops, and certain co-op places. I need to get a shower. All right, Skylar. More ways to shower on the road. If it's in your budget, join a franchise gym. The YMCA is a fantastic and economical choice with access to locations across the country. Get a workout in and stay clean. If it's not in your budget to join a gym,
let's talk about baby wipes, or wet wipes, whatever you want to call them, are probably the second to the most valuable piece of kit that you can have. You can take wet wipe showers on the road if you want to, remain sociably clean and fragrant.
just because you're traveling out of your car doesn't mean you have to look like it. Very grateful to be here. Very grateful to be here. Cool weather makes for some cool people. Perhaps Mainers are extra warm because of the sub-zero temperatures of their winters, the coldest spring times of all the states, and generally bracing weather.
Very peaceful and serene here in Maine.
I was plotting a route north to Acadia National Park, or maybe Mount Catadine, when something happened.
Okay, so as a continuation of our ongoing saga, the car battery ran down again. But this time, we're in cell phone range near a Walmart in a town. And so I have called AAA.
I was notified the car battery needed to be replaced, which was not in the budget. I had very much wanted to see Acadia National Park, but limited funds and an iffy car battery prevented us from going any further north. We had to turn west. Our next destination is quite a drop.
Find out where in next episode. Here's a little baby deer, and its mother just took off. But Skylar's gonna be nice, aren't you, Skylar? Because it's a baby. It's a little baby deer. You're not gonna be mad, are you? Oh my God, it's coming closer. There is the mother over there. Oh, I feel bad that we chased off her baby.